My name is Eleanor Winters, and I was turned into a living fertility experiment by the very man I once loved. 3 years ago, I woke up after a company party with fractured memories, unexplained bruises, and a pregnancy that defied logic. Months later, I discovered I was carrying twins, conceived at different times by two different fathers. I am subject 4 in an illegal fertility trial. One child was conceived through deception, the other through assault. And today I'm going to tell you what they never wanted the world to hear. Before I share my full story, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Hit like and subscribe if you've ever had to fight back for your family or for yourself. Trust me, you'll want to hear what happened next. The champagne flute trembled in my hand as Spencer raised his toast. 10 years of Carrington Biotech. 10 years of lies, apparently. To innovation, my husband declared to the crowded ballroom, his smile as polished as his Armani suit. To pushing the boundaries of what's possible. I'd worn the emerald dress he loved, the one that matched the earrings he'd given me on our 8th anniversary. Now, watching him scan the crowd, his eyes lingering on someone near the back, I wondered when I'd become invisible. Dr. Jade Monroe, 27, brilliant, beautiful. Everything I used to be before marriage had worn down my edges. I excused myself, needing air. The hallway outside the ballroom was mercifully empty, or so I thought. Sample 4 showed promise. Jade's voice drifted from an alcove. She doesn't remember anything from that night. Good. Spencer. My Spencer. The board can't know we used. I pressed myself against the wall, heart hammering. Used what? Who? The dose was perfect, Jade continued. Ellie's results could change everything. My name. They said my name. The world tilted. 3 months ago, there'd been a company party. I'd woken up the next morning with gaps in my memory, a splitting headache, and bruises I couldn't explain. Spencer had been so concerned, so tender. He'd made me soup, held my hair back when I was sick. Now his tenderness felt like poison. I slipped back into the ballroom, my smile automatic. Practiced. Kiss the board members' wives. Laugh at their jokes. Play the perfect CEO's wife while my mind screamed. In the ladies' room, I locked myself in a stall and pulled out my phone. My hands shook as I scrolled through my calendar. That party, the lost hours, the week after when I'd felt so strange, so unlike myself. What had they done to me? The bathroom door opened. Heels clicked on marble. You look pale, Jade said when I emerged. Her concern seemed genuine, which made it worse. Are you feeling all right, Mrs. Carrington? Perfect, I lied, washing hands that wouldn't stop trembling. Just perfect. She touched my shoulder. I flinched. Spencer's looking for you, she said. The photographer wants couple shots. Of course he did. The perfect couple. The biotech king and his interior designer queen. Boston's golden pair. I found him by the ice sculpture, already positioning himself for the camera. His hand found the small of my back, possessive and familiar. Smile, darling, he whispered. This is our night. The camera flashed. I smiled, and I began to plan my escape. I drove through the night, my Lexus eating up miles of interstate while Boston shrunk in the rearview mirror. No phone, I'd left it on the kitchen counter. No credit cards, only the cash I'd hidden over months of small withdrawals. The cabin materialized through the Maine woods like a ghost. Mom's old place, where she'd painted her watercolors and slowly died of cancer. I hadn't been back since the funeral. The key was still under the third rock from the porch steps. Inside smelled like dust and memories. I collapsed on the moth-eaten sofa, finally letting myself shake. Not from cold, from rage, from fear, from the growing certainty that my body had been used for something I couldn't name. Morning brought clarity and nausea. Not the emotional kind, the real running to the bathroom kind. The local clinic was 40 minutes away, tucked between a hardware store and a diner that still advertised meatloaf specials. Dr. Sarah Kim had kind eyes and gentle hands. She'd treated Mom during her last summer. Pregnancy test? She asked when I described my symptoms. That's impossible. I have an IUD. She gave me a look that said nothing was impossible. The test turned positive in seconds, but the ultrasound, that's when her forehead creased. Eleanor, this is unusual. She turned the screen toward me. You're carrying twins, but they're at different developmental stages. One appears to be about 12 weeks, the other maybe 10. That can't happen. It's called superfetation. Conceiving while already pregnant. It's exceptionally rare in humans. She printed images, her movements careful. Do you know when? 12 weeks, the company party, 10 weeks. A blank space in my memory. Another party, another gap. I need to think, I managed. Back at the cabin, I spread the ultrasound images on Mom's paint-stained table. 2 babies, 2 different times, maybe 2 different fathers. My hands went to my stomach. Whatever Spencer had done, whatever experiment I'd become, these children were mine. Not his, not Carrington Biotech's. Mine. I built a fire in the stone fireplace and fed it with every photo I'd brought. Our wedding album, vacation snapshots, the magazine features about Boston's perfect couple. I watched our life turn to ash and felt nothing but relief. The nausea hit again. This time, as I knelt on the bathroom floor, I wasn't alone. 2 heartbeats fluttered beneath my own. I don't know who you are, I whispered to my stomach. But I'll keep you safe, I promise. Outside, snow began to fall, erasing my tire tracks, erasing my trail, erasing Eleanor Carrington as surely as I'd burned her photographs. Winter came hard to the cabin. I learned to split wood, badly at first, then better. My hands grew calluses. My belly grew babies. My blog grew followers. Ashes and embers. I'd started it to stay sane. Anonymous posts about betrayal, about losing yourself, about finding strength in isolation. Women wrote to me. Their stories broke my heart and mended it over and over. Today I remembered something, I typed one night, the cursor blinking in the darkness. A needle, hands holding me down. A voice saying, she's perfect for phase 2. Is trauma always this fragmented? Do memories come back in pieces to protect us from the whole? The comments flooded in. Women who'd been drugged. Women who'd been violated. Women who'd been told they were crazy for remembering things that couldn't have happened. A knock interrupted my typing. This deep in the woods, knocks meant trouble. Power company, a man called. Noticed your lights flickering. I opened the door with the chain on. He was tall, bearded, wearing work clothes that had seen actual work. I'm fine, I said. Ma'am, temperature's dropping to -10 tonight. If you lose power... His eyes caught on my belly. You're pregnant. I noticed. He almost smiled. Caleb Dorsey. I live about 2 miles north. Used to know the woman who owned this place. My mother. Sarah painted my barn once. Sunflowers. He studied me with eyes that saw too much. You need help with the generator? I needed help with everything, but I said, generator? 20 minutes later, he had the ancient machine humming. I made coffee while he worked, watching him move with the careful precision of someone who'd learned not to waste motion. Military? I asked. Army medic? You? Interior designer. It sounded like another person's life. I was an interior designer. He didn't ask why I was hiding in the woods, pregnant and alone. I didn't ask why he knew so much about generators and so little about small talk. But when he left, I found myself at Mom's old desk, searching through her papers. There, a receipt. Caleb Dorsey, carpentry work. But the date was wrong. After she'd died. I Googled him on the ancient laptop. Nothing. Then buried in a medical journal archive. C. Dorsey, former coordinator, Project Seedling, Government Fertility Research Program, disbanded. Carrington Biotech had been built on Project Seedling's remains. My hands went to my belly. The babies kicked, one then the other, a strange syncopated rhythm. Everyone had secrets here. Even the handyman who showed up just when I needed help. The blizzard came without warning. Or maybe I'd ignored the warnings, too focused on the strange email I'd found in Mom's files. Something about protecting the subjects and maintaining distance until necessary. The first contraction hit like a fist. No, I told my body. Not now, not here. The second one brought me to my knees. Phone lines were down. Cell towers, useless. The road would be impassable for days. I crawled to the door, managed to hang a red towel on the porch. The old emergency signal Mom had taught me. Caleb arrived as the third contraction peaked, snow-covered and carrying a military medical kit. How far apart? He was already washing his hands, transforming from neighbor to medic. 3 minutes, maybe less. You're sure? Both babies? I screamed my answer. What followed was a blur of pain and purpose. Caleb's voice, steady and sure. Push now. Stop now. Breathe. His hands, gentle but firm. The cabin, warm despite the storm howling outside. Micah came first, angry and perfect, with Spencer's dark hair and his grandfather's chin. I knew immediately whose child he was. But Alara? She's not breathing. Caleb's voice, controlled panic. I watched him work, clearing airways, tiny chest compressions, rescue breaths into lungs the size of walnuts. Time stopped. The storm stopped. Everything stopped except Caleb's hands, fighting for my daughter's life. Then a cry, weak but real. There we go, little fighter. He wrapped her in towels, placed her on my chest next to her brother. Just needed some encouragement. Alara opened her eyes. Blue, like mine, but the shape. I'd seen those eyes before, in a medical journal, in a photo of researchers from Project Seedling. Daniel, I whispered, the name surfacing from somewhere deep. Oh God, Daniel Reeves. Caleb's hands stilled. You remember him? No. Yes. Fragments. The memory came in pieces. Another party. A kind voice. Someone trying to stop something. He tried to warn me. They removed him from the project. Eleanor. Caleb's voice was careful. Daniel Reeves died 2 years ago. Car accident. Very convenient timing. I looked at my daughter, at eyes that belonged to a dead man who'd tried to save me. Then at my son, with the eyes of the man who'd sold me to science. What did they do to me? Superfetation was just the beginning, Caleb said quietly. You were their proof of concept. That fertility could be manipulated, enhanced, controlled. Outside, the storm began to break. Inside, I held my impossible children and began to understand the weight of what I'd escaped, and what still hunted me. Portland welcomed us like the rain, constantly, without judgment. I found a townhouse with good bones and bad plumbing, far from Boston's glitter and Spencer's reach. The blog saved us. Ashes and embers became a lifeline, first for me, then for thousands of women. They sent their stories. I sent them hope. Somehow, we built something real from our mutual wreckage. Your body is yours, I wrote while nursing twins at 3 a.m. Even when someone tries to steal it, even when they succeed, what grows from violation can still be beautiful. My children are not their origin story. The comments became connections. The connections became community. Within 6 months, I'd incorporated the Hearth Project. Safe houses for women escaping dangerous situations, whether domestic or corporate. Caleb appeared every few weeks, always with some excuse. Fixing a door, installing security cameras, teaching me to change diapers with military efficiency. You don't have to check on us, I told him one afternoon. Micah was crawling toward trouble. Alara watched from her bouncer, those haunting blue eyes tracking everything. I know. He caught Micah before he could eat a power cord. But Sarah made me promise. My mother's been dead for 3 years. She knew Spencer would escalate. She knew about Project Seedling, about what they'd do to you. He set Micah in the playpen. She couldn't protect you from marriage, but she could arrange protection for after. I stared at him. You're telling me my mother orchestrated my escape route from beyond the grave? Sarah Winters was many things. Naive wasn't one of them. That night, I found Mom's last painting in the attic. A woman holding 2 babies, standing in front of a burning house. She'd titled it Phoenix Rising. The anonymous donation arrived the next week. $300,000. The note made my blood run cold. To the children we were never meant to create. It's guilt money, Caleb said when I showed him. I don't care. I was already calculating. This could fund safe houses in 6 cities. Security systems. Legal aid. Eleanor. They used my body. They stole my agency. They killed anyone who tried to stop them. I looked at my children playing on the renovated floor. So I'll use their money to save other women. Call it poetic justice. Caleb smiled then, the first real smile I'd seen from him. Sarah would be proud. That night, I updated the blog, posted photos of the first Hearth House. Within hours, 3 more anonymous donations arrived. Different amounts, different banks, but I recognized the pattern. Other women, other experiments, other survivors with guilt money to spend. We were building something. From ashes, from embers, from the bodies they'd tried to claim. You're Eleanor Winters? I stood at the registration desk of the San Diego Reproductive Technology Conference, my speaker badge heavy as shame. Behind me, Caleb held Alara while Micah tugged at his jeans. Eleanor Carrington, the volunteer corrected, reading her list. Keynote speaker. Winters, I said firmly. It's been legally changed. Spencer's company banners hung everywhere. His money, his stage, his conference. But my story. Mommy speaks? Micah asked. Mommy roars, Caleb muttered. The auditorium was packed. I saw Spencer in the front row, still wedding ring wearing the lie of our marriage. His face, when I walked on stage, was worth every mile I'd driven. But when Caleb entered with the twins, that's when Spencer truly saw. Micah's face, his mirror image, Alara's eyes impossibly blue, impossibly wrong for his genetics. Good afternoon, I began. I'm Eleanor Winters, founder of the Hearth Project. I'm also Subject 4 in Carrington Biotech's illegal fertility trials. These are my children, one conceived through deception, one through assault. Today, I'm here to tell you about the future of reproductive technology and the women destroyed in its past. The silence was deafening. I spoke for 20 minutes. About memory gaps, about stolen consent, about Daniel Reeves, who died trying to protect subjects, about the other women who'd reached out. Subjects 1 through 3 were dead, 5 through 8 were missing. The children I bore were never meant to exist, I concluded. They were meant to be proof of concept, evidence that women's bodies could be hacked, programmed, controlled. Instead, they're proof of survival, of love growing in the darkest places, of beauty from violation. I looked directly at Spencer. Some of you funded this research. Some of you conducted it. Some of you covered it up. Today that ends. The first reporter stood, then another. Soon, the room erupted in questions, cameras, chaos. Spencer tried to reach the stage. Security, hired by the Hearth Project, stopped him. "Those are my children," he shouted. "No," I said into the microphone. "They're mine. Biology doesn't make a father. Presence does. Protection does. Love does." I walked off stage to Caleb, took Alara from his arms. Micah wrapped himself around my leg. "Mommy roared," he announced. "Yes, baby. Mommy roared." Later, in the hotel room, I watched the news coverage explode. Spencer's face, frame after frame of denial. Jade Monroe, already in custody. The FBI raid on Carrington Biotech. "You know this is just the beginning," Caleb warned. "The lawsuits, the threats, the custody battles." I looked at my children, safe and sleeping, and mine. "Let them come," I said. "We survived worse. We'll survive this." "Your Honor, my client simply seeks to establish paternity and secure his parental rights." Spencer's lawyer was good. Expensive suit, expensive words, expensive lies. But I had something better. The truth. "Mrs. Winters," my lawyer began, "please describe the events of March 15th, 3 years ago." I told them everything. The gaps, the sickness, the impossible pregnancy. My voice stayed steady even when Spencer's eyes tried to burn holes through me. Caleb testified next. Military records spotless, his credentials unimpeachable. He detailed Project Seedling, the connections to Carrington Biotech, the pattern of subjects disappearing. Then came the evidence that broke the case open. "This flash drive," the FBI analyst explained, "contains internal Carrington communications. Subject 4, Mrs. Winters, was chosen for her genetic markers. The goal was superfetation, proving fertility could be manipulated beyond natural limits." Email after email, videos of meetings. Spencer's voice, captured forever. "If we can make one woman conceive multiple times from different partners without her knowledge, imagine the applications. Infertility, treatment, population control, military applications." "And the second father?" the judge asked. "Dr. Daniel Reeves," the analyst confirmed. "His genetic material was used without consent. He discovered the plot, attempted whistleblowing. His death was convenient," I finished. The judge called recess. In the bathroom, I splashed water on my face and found Jade Monroe washing her hands beside me. "I'm sorry," she said. "I thought we were helping people, advancing science." I didn't know. She touched her own stomach. I'm pregnant. Spencer's, the traditional way. I could have been cruel. Instead, get out, run, take whatever money you can, and disappear. Don't let him near that baby. She nodded, understanding. The verdict came swift and damning. Spencer lost all parental claims. Carrington Biotech faced federal charges. Crimes against humanity, the prosecutor called it. But the real victory came in chambers, where Caleb filed adoption papers for Ilara. You don't have to, I started. She needs a father. I need a purpose. Seems simple enough. Nothing about this is simple. No, he agreed, but the best things rarely are. That night, I updated the blog one last time from the hotel. We won, not just the case. We won back our bodies, our choices, our children. To every subject out there, every woman wondering if her memories are real, every mother raising children from trauma, you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not property. You are Phoenix Fire, and you will rise. The donations crashed the site. By morning, the Hearth Project had funding for 50 cities. Justice tastes like vindication and possibility, served cold with a side of hope. Daddy, push me higher! Ilara's laughter filled the Seattle playground. 3 years old now, fearless and bright, with Daniel Reeves' eyes and my stubborn streak. Caleb obliged, sending her soaring while Micah practiced soccer with his team. Just another Saturday at Hearth House, Seattle, our flagship center. Auntie Jade's here, someone called. She emerged from a Prius, toddler on her hip. She'd taken my advice, disappeared completely, then found us through the network. Now she ran our research division, using her brilliance to help, not harm. Spencer's being released next month, she told me quietly. Time served. Good behavior. I know. I'd been tracking it. 2 years for human experimentation. Justice was flawed, but it was something. He's been asking about Micah. He can ask. I watched my son score a goal, his teammates cheering. Micah knows the truth. We've never hidden it. Spencer is his biological father, Caleb is his dad. Strange how simple it became when you said it out loud. The Hearth Project had grown beyond my dreams. 63 cities, 12,000 women helped. Laws changed in 7 states. We'd turned trauma into transformation, one safe house at a time. Time for cake, someone announced. Happy 5th birthday, Hearth. The community gathered. Former subjects, survivors, volunteers, staff, women who'd fled with nothing and built everything. Children, born of violence, raised in love. Spencer arrived during the celebration, older, grayer, smaller somehow. I just want to see him, he said. Then see him. I gestured to the field where Micah played. See him happy. See him loved. See him whole despite what you tried to break. He watched for 10 minutes. When Micah noticed him, I held my breath. My son walked over, Caleb beside him. They spoke briefly. Then Micah returned to his game, and Caleb escorted Spencer to his car. What did you tell him? I asked later. The truth, Micah said, 5 years old and wiser than his years. That he made me but didn't raise me. That I forgive him because Mommy taught me hate is heavy. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. That night, I stood in our backyard, a real house now with garden beds and a tire swing. Caleb grilled while the kids chased fireflies. Jade helped set the table. Other Hearth families filled the space with laughter. We did it, Mom's voice whispered on the wind. Or maybe it was just my imagination. Either way, I whispered back. We did it. Not the life I'd planned, not the children I was meant to have, but the family I chose, forged in storm and fire, stronger for the breaking. And that was everything.